Something really fucked up happens to your perception of reality when you actually discover how rich people actually got rich with zero support. And no, I'm not talking about dark psychology or manipulation or 48 laws type strategy, because it doesn't take a genius to discover that people at the top use words in a clever way to persuade judgment. And I'm also not talking about working harder than everyone else, about grinding more, about waking up at 5 a.m. and going monk mode 6 months straight, because you've already tried that stuff and look at your fucking situation. And I'm also not talking about understanding money in a different way or understanding how the game works that normal people can't even fathom. Because again, you've already watched enough videos about psychology of money and Machiavelli's rules of wealth. You already have all of that information and you're still in the exact same spot. What I'm about to tell you is the one thing that every single person who came from zero support, from nobody believing in them, from nobody understanding why they are doing what they are doing, to making something out of themselves. And no one in the Machiavelli space will ever tell you that, because it directly contradicts the entire narrative they've been trying to sell you for the past year. And if you are one of the few people who can watch actually the entire video, meaning sit down and listen to the entire video of someone who has everything you ever want at the age of 20, then you'll be miles ahead of your competition. And if you can't even sit down and watch the full thing, then you potentially won't even have the focus to get rich in the first place. Because once I actually realized what successful people did to go from zero support, from nothing, it completely changed the entire perception I had. Because I realized that I thought I knew how to make it out from nothing, from zero support, but I was completely wrong. So, in order to understand how successful people go from zero support to making something out of themselves, we have to go back to Machiavelli. And not the version that every single faceless YouTube channel is telling you, meaning be strategic, lone wolf, put emotions to the side, be self-reliant Machiavelli. No, the real Machiavelli. The real Machiavelli, meaning the things he wrote 500 years ago that everyone creating content about him either completely ignored or just absolutely misunderstood. Because in The Prince, chapters 22 and 23, Machiavelli breaks down something that I've actually never seen a single video talk about. And he says that the very first impression that people form of a ruler's intelligence is not based on the ruler himself. It's not based on his knowledge. It's not based on his work ethic. It's not based on his discipline. It's not based about him at all. It's based purely on the quality of the people he chose to keep around him. That's what Machiavelli said. That's the guy that basically every faceless AI channel puts Machiavelli, meaning this guy, on a thumbnail and is doing the lone wolf content. This guy literally said that you are judged by the quality of people you choose around you, not by what you know. And Machiavelli even goes deeper, because he broke down 3 types of intellect. The first category is the person who is able to figure out everything by himself, meaning he can get the answer before anyone else does. The second type is the person who is smart enough. The second type is the person who can't figure it out by himself, but he's smart enough to find the person who already figured it out. And the third type, which Machiavelli says that it's basically useless because he can't recognize the answer. He can't recognize basically this thing by himself. And he's also not smart enough to find a person who figured out the answer. And now here's the thing that should genuinely disturb you. Because I know what you are thinking. I'm the first type. I can figure it out by myself. I just need more time and more information. And that's also exactly what I thought. But Machiavelli says that the first type is extraordinarily rare. Like it's almost not non-existent. But Machiavelli also says that the second type is enough. Like if you are in a second type, you can still build an empire. You can still win. You just have to be smart enough to find the person who has the answers and just get close to them. So here's also something that's really messed up. Because essentially, but here's also something that's so messed up. Because most people sitting where you're sitting right now, and like also, I don't want to be disrespectful, they are in a second category. But their pride has them acting in a way like they're in a first one. And when you're smart enough to recognize the answer, but you are too proud to act on it, then Machiavelli says that you are functionally a third type. It's not that you are lazy, it's not you are stupid, it's essentially your pride makes you useless. And also, I want you to sit with that for a second because it directly connects to what I'm about to share you about how rich people actually made it out with zero support. And because like I essentially live the exact same thing, meaning I will tell you something that usually I'm not talking about because it's a little bit embarrassing, but I'm from a small city in Poland. And when I say I came from zero support, I mean actually zero. I don't mean I don't mean the motivational video type zero where someone actually had the uncle that gave them some money to start a business, or they had a friend that introduced them to someone who already got them up and that already figured out the things he was trying to figure out. I literally came from zero support, meaning everyone around me didn't believe in what I was trying to do was real. My family thought I was wasting my time. People around me, like my friends, thought I was wasting my time. I had zero connections to anyone who figured out already what I was trying to do. And so what did I did? What did I do actually, to be grammatically correct? I did exactly what you are trying to do right now. Meaning, I watched videos, I studied, I consumed every single content about everything possible, about money, about starting a business, about strategies, about mindset, about how to make money, about Machiavelli, about dark psychology, like all of it. And what happened is that I got really good at understanding all of these terms, like genuinely good. Meaning I could talk for hours about acquisition channels and offers and niches and value equations, like all of that. And it felt like a progress. Like in my mind, I was getting closer to where I was trying to go. But I still had the exact same number in my bank account, meaning my bank account didn't change. My life didn't change. The only thing that changed was the amount of information I had in my head and amount of frustration I felt in my chest from spending all of this time learning all of these things, and all of it didn't translate into anything tangible, into anything real. And I know what you're thinking right now. Okay, this is basically where he tells me that he stopped watching content and he stopped learning more stuff and he stopped consuming and he starts producing and he actually puts the hours on a business and he actually starts doing all of these things and executing. But it didn't happen. That's not what happened, because that's what basically every YouTuber would tell you that happened, because it's the easy answer and it like also makes for a nice story. But what I did was completely different, and it also connects directly to the three types of intellect that basically Machiavelli mentions. Because what I did is I found a guy named Julian. One guy, not a community, not a mastermind, not a course, basically a one guy that already figured out what I was trying to figure out and also came from a similar background to me, meaning like he was starting from a pretty similar point where I was starting from. And then I just figure out how to get close enough to Julian to actually understand the specific actions and sequence of events that allowed him to go from literally zero support to doing the thing that I was trying to do. Meaning, not what he was posting on YouTube, not what he was saying in his content, not what he was saying publicly, like the real stuff behind the scenes, like the actual sequence of events that allowed him to go from where he was, meaning where I was, to where he is right now and where I am trying to go. And that essentially collapsed this essentially collapsed years into months. Meaning me getting close to a guy who already figured out what I was trying to figure out collapsed years of me spending time on my own to months. Because I stopped trying to figure this out by myself. I just found a guy who already has a map, who already walked the path, and I just started walking the path that someone else already figured out. And that's essentially when I became the second type. For real, like not in just theory. The second type that basically Machiavelli mentions. And also when I started looking at every other successful person I could find, like the real story, not the self-made podcast type shit explaining that they've done everything by themselves, but like the actual stuff they were doing, the actual events they've done, the actual steps they did in order to get successful. All of them essentially did the exact same thing. There was always one mentor, one advisor, one person that already had them up and all of the steps within that just allowed them to get them up and just follow the steps, always. Like there is no self-made person. Like it's all marketing, it's not real, and they all cheat. All rich people cheat. And what I mean by cheating is all of the people who got successful got close to someone who already figured out what they were trying to figure out, meaning they got close to this person and then they got all of these steps from the person so they can literally walk the exact same path. And there is like already someone out there who already did the exact same thing that you are trying to do. Meaning like whether it is business or connections, whatever. There is already someone who already figured out the exact thing you are trying to do. And what you just have to do is get really good at extracting their inputs. And that's essentially when you win in this game. Meaning when you are able to download years of experience in a fraction of time by getting close to someone else, someone specifically who did the thing you are trying to do, that's when you win. Think about who in your world has already done the thing you are trying to figure out today. And just think about it. Think, and then like also ask yourself whether you being stuck for another year or two because of your pride is worth it. Because the rich don't outwork everyone. The rich don't outlearn everyone. They find the right person and they get close to this.